Jesus said to his disciples, "The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few." Voice of Care exists to help congregations work the fields for God's harvest. Over 56 million Americans have a disability. That's 20% of the population. Almost half of those people have disabilities that are labeled severe. 4.6 million people in our country have developmental disability, one that affects the cognitive as well as physical capacity. 80% of those people with disabilities are unchurched. They have no church home, and neither do their caregivers. Sadly, 85% of churches have no disability ministry. Voice of Care's mission is to equip the church to nurture people with disabilities and their caregivers in their walk with Christ.
At Voice of Care, equipping congregations for disability ministry begins with changing attitudes. Often people with disability are just seen, but not really taken into account. It is a state of not recognizing that that person has any impact on your life at all. Moving from that attitude of ignorance, we progress to the pity stage. That poor woman. Someone should help that man. Lord, have mercy on him and bring forth people to meet their needs. At some point, compassion kicks in, and we choose to be the deliverer of that assistance. Let me help you. Can I work with you to accomplish that? I minister to people with disabilities. This is the care stage, and it is a very comfortable place for Christians. It is natural for the church to serve as the hand and feet of Jesus. But then comes the real work. The challenge is to move beyond seeing people with disabilities as projects. As we minister among people with disabilities and their caregivers, we develop relationship and become friends. The final leap in attitude takes us from friendship to understanding that as God's beloved people of all abilities, we are co-laborers in His harvest field.
Voice of Care walks alongside congregations, offering training, resources, and support during this journey. Voice of Care believes that every church has a disability ministry waiting to be discovered. And by sharing models of disability ministry and matching congregational passions and strengths, Voice of Care helps open the doors to reaching people with disabilities for Jesus. Meet Peter, a member of Trinity Lutheran Church in Lisle, Illinois. He is a young man with developmental disabilities. When Trinity placed an emphasis on small group Bible study, Peter wanted to be included too. Peter's parents reached out to Voice of Care looking for a Bible study in which the men from Peter's group home could participate. Trinity decided to host a Bible study 2 evenings each month. Voice of Care trained the group leaders and supplied appropriate study materials. Voice of Care continues to assist Peter and his small group to participate in church Bible study series by providing material adapted for their cognitive needs. Despite their disabilities, Peter and his homemates are eager to serve the Lord through volunteer service projects. As a group, they helped brighten the lives of children living in a medical residential facility by making Christmas picture books. Other simple ways that churches can engage people of all abilities include movie nights, Bible bingo, and seasonal holiday meals and activities. These are natural accompaniments to inclusive worship opportunities. Voice of Care provides easy direction and comprehensive materials for Disability Awareness Days, an interactive learning experience for adults or children. Voice of Care assists congregations in bringing Jesus time into facilities. This can be a wonderful blessing for people like Andy, who has Down syndrome. Andy participates in Jesus time at a residential facility for people with developmental disabilities. Andy, however, is not a resident. He is one of the Voice of Care trained volunteers who sing, make music, and share Bible stories with those who live at the facility. Alongside his father, Bill, who plays guitar, Andy keeps rhythm with the music on his tambourine. Andy loves Jesus, and he enjoys telling others about his Savior. Voice of Care works with outdoor ministries to ensure that people with disabilities have safe and enriching experiences in natural environments. With a growing demand for respite care, Lutheran churches are uniquely poised to provide short-term in-home care for members and present church-hosted drop-off respite events for the community. Voice of Care Rest training for Lutheran congregations is raising a sustainable network of volunteer respite care companions and developing leaders who are qualified to train the trainers. Armed with respite education and support tools, these certified respite providers are qualified to deliver both compassionate care and connection to the church. Voice of Care has grown out of over 40 years of disability ministry in Northern Illinois. Girded with experience, time-tested techniques, vetted resources, and a passion to share the gospel with people of all abilities, Voice of Care is equipping churches across the nation, primarily funded by individual donors and dedicated congregations.
This summer, Voice of Care debuted a special Friends Camp with Good Shepherd Lutheran Church in Frankfort, Illinois. During closing worship, campers took turns going up on the stage to lead songs. At the very end, one camper approached the stage. This was a young man, Andrew, who is on the autism spectrum. He typically mumbles when he speaks and holds conversations with himself, unintelligible to others. Andrew likes to read aloud, but he spits his words out rapid fire like a machine gun. The music began. Andrew took his place, sang, spoke to the melody. Andrew pronounced each word clearly, phrasing the message and pausing at all the right places. He sang the song, "Who Am I?" by Casting Crowns. It became clear that he understood what he was singing. This man knows Jesus and wants to share him. Yet, he is trapped in a body that limits his ability to communicate. Given the right tools, in this case music, Andrew was given opportunity to share his love of Jesus. When others heard Andrew, there were tears, and hearts were touched. This is what Voice of Care is all about, creating opportunities to be co-laborers.